Hey there, Angular folks, and welcome back. Here's a common problem that I guarantee you've run into before. Here's a simple product search app. It looks pretty good, right? But look at what's happening under the hood. Every single time I press a key, we're firing off a new API request. It's wasteful, it hammers your backend, and it makes your UI feel jittery. To fix this, we need to debounce it, but how do we do this with signals? Well, in Angular 22, we'll have a couple options. Let's take a look at them. All right, here's the code for this search component. First, we have a query signal. This is what holds our search term. Then, we convert that signal into an observable using toObservable. We do this because we're using RxJS and observables when we search. Here we have a product signal that's created using toSignal. And this is where the work happens. We're running the query through a stream and using switchmap to cancel previous requests. This is a solid RxJS setup. Now, let's look at the template. Here, we have our input, which updates the query signal every time the user types. And then, down below it, we have a switch block that checks the status of our product signal. If the status is idle, we show a message. If it's loading, we show a spinner. And if it's data, we loop through the products and display them. So that's our starting point. Now, let's fix the network spam. It used to be that the only way we could do this was with the RxJS debounceTime operator. This is pretty easy to add in our case. It's pretty much just a single line change. Right here in our pipe, I just need to add the debounceTime operator and then give it a duration. What this does is tell RxJS to wait until the source observable, our query, has stopped emitting values for 1 full second before it lets the value continue down the stream. Let's save this and see the difference. All right, everything looks the same, right? Now let's type to search again. Nice. Nothing happens while I'm typing now, but once we stop, we get a single request instead of one per keystroke. That is exactly what we want. We're not spamming the server anymore. Problem solved. This works great, but notice what we had to do. We left signals, converted to an observable, and started thinking in streams again. If you're building a signal-first app, that's not ideal. Well, as of Angular 22, we'll be able to easily debounce the updating of a signal. Let's head back over to the code. First, I'm going to add a new read-only property called debounced query. Now, we'll use the new debounced function from Angular core. Then we just pass the signal we want to debounce, in this case our query signal, and then the duration we want to debounce for. This gives us back a new read-only signal that will only update after the query signal has been stable for 1 second. So now, instead of debouncing a stream, we're debouncing the signal itself. Now that we have a debounced signal, we don't need RxJS anymore. Instead of building a stream, we can use a resource. We can replace all the logic and observables. It's designed for loading asynchronous data, and it works perfectly with this new debounce signal concept. A resource is basically Angular's way of handling async data with signals. The first property is params. This is a signal that provides the input for our data loading. Here, we'll use our new debounce query. We're saying if debounce query has a value, use it. If not, the param is undefined, which tells the resource not to fire. Next, we have the loader function. This function receives the params and fetches the data. Here, we'll use the first value from to get a promise from the HTTP request observable from our API. Then we'll return the products matching the query. So debounce creates the delayed signal, and resource uses that signal to automatically manage the data loading, including loading and error states. Now that we've changed our component's logic, we need to update the template too. The new products resource has a slightly different API. It doesn't have a status property like our old RxJS signal did. Instead, it has methods like isLoading and value. So this whole switch block is no longer going to work. I'll start with a new if block that checks if the original query signal has a value. If the query is empty, we'll show our idle state. That's our else block. Now, if the query does have a value, we then need to check if the resource is loading. So I'll add another if-else here. We'll use the products isLoading method, which returns true while our loader function is running. If it is, we show the spinner. If it's not loading, we can show the results, so I'll add the list in here. The key change here is that we get the data from product's value. This is how you access the data that was returned from the loader function. So the template is a bit different, but it's mapping directly to the states of our new resource. All right, that should be it. Let's save this and see it all working together. Okay, here we are. The app still looks the same, so let's try our search again. As I'm typing, we have a query, but we haven't fetched any results, so we don't see anything. Then, once the debounce timer completes from a pause in typing, the loading state fires while the results are fetched from the API. It happens quick, so we don't see it for long before the results list replaces it. One network request, and the results are on the screen. It works exactly the same as the RxJS version, but our component code is now pretty much all signals. No to observable, no pipe, no subscribe. We just declared what we wanted, a debounce version of our query, and a resource that loads data based on it. This is a pretty big step forward for reactivity in Angular and a really nice feature to have. Just a quick heads up, debounced and resource are both experimental, so the API could still see some changes before it's finalized, so keep an eye on the official docs. But this is a powerful preview of where things are headed. It's simpler, it's cleaner, and it lets us stay entirely within the signal paradigm. Now, if you're starting to see how powerful signals can be, my Signal Forms course takes this a lot further. Real-world forms, validation, async logic, all built the signal-first way. I'll drop a link in the description if you want to check it out. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe. All right, I'll see you in the next one.